Hello everyone, welcome to YouTube channel AptiPro. Today our first topic is Introduction to C language. C is the basic language. If you learn C, then all the remaining languages are derived from the basics of C language. Firstly, C it is a general purpose language and it is a high level language. This is understandable by the human, hence it is a high level language. And machine understandable language is known as low level language and it is developed by Dennis Ritchie. C language is suitable for system programming, like to design an operating system or to develop a compiler. And in order to write code in C language, we need to learn some basics. So firstly, variable. A variable in C language is used to store a particular value. That is, variable uses to store some particular value and to do some operations with that variables. And a variable value can be changed any number of times in the program. And there are some set of rules for declaring a variable. It should start with an alphabet or with an underscore. And it may contain alphabet, integer or underscore, but it should not start with an integer, but it can contain integer in between but not at the starting. It contains maximum of 32 characters and the size is up to 32 characters. We can declare a variable, and firstly the variable means it is a user defined name. The user can give any name according to his wish, but with certain rules. And it is a case sensitive, that is, smaller case is differ from higher case alphabets. Here small a is different from capital A. And let us see some example. See here how we have to declare a variable means, firstly you need to specify the data type, that is what type of data the variable is going to hold. Data type and variable name, and it should be terminated with a semicolon. Example is see here, int sum. This int is a data type because int is a keyword for integer data type, so its keyword is int. And I am taking sum as my variable. I can keep anything as my variable. Let it be product. So it is a user defined name. And int, this is acceptable because I said that an alphabet can start with an underscore. Sorry, the variable can start with an alphabet or an underscore. This is not accepted because here we used dollar symbol. I said that it contains only alphabets, integers and an underscore, but it should not contain any special character. Hence this variable declaration is not accepted. This also not accepted because I said that it may contain integer in middle but not at the starting position. An alphabet, it should be start with an alphabet or underscore. This is accepted. This is because we used 1 at the end, not at the starting. Or you can use 1 in the middle also. You can use like this also. but it should not be at the starting position. This is also not accepted, because we should not give any blank spaces in between the variable, and variable should be single word. There should be no spaces, so it is not accepted. And another thing is, in variable declaration we should not mention keywords. Keywords are not accepted as a variable. So keywords I will discuss in later classes. So at this point you remember that keywords should not be write as variable name. And next, moving to the session. Rules for constant. Constant in C programming is one in which if we initialize the value to a particular variable and make that variable as a constant, then the value cannot be changed throughout the code, and it is declared with the help of const keyword. I said keyword, I'll discuss in later classes, and at this point you remember that constant keyword is const. To declare a constant we have to use the keyword const. Before going to this, let us see an example. Const int a equal to 10. I declared this, it is an variable a of type integer, and I made it this as a constant variable. So if I try to change the a value anywhere in the program, then surely I'll get an error message. We'll check it in the later classes. Coming back to the session. Data types. We already know in variable declaration, firstly we mention the data type. What is a data type means? The data type specifies what kind of data is stored in a variable. I said that sum equal to 10 or a equal to 10 stored a value 10. 10 is a type of integer, hence there we declared it as an int of data type int. So similarly you are having many data types. See, this is data type variable name. Different data types are primary data type, derived data type, and user defined data type. Let us see one by one. And the primary data type is also known as predefined data type, because it is already defined and we don't need to write any code for the primary data type. We just need to import or write its keyword and we can access it. And now data types in C language. I said primary, user defined, and derived data types. Primary data types are within the system programming language itself. We don't need to specify or we don't need to write a separate code for that. And this is a character, char. It represented by char keyword. It is used to hold the character values, single character, and it should be enclosed with a single inverted commas. And this is floating point. It has float, double, long double. It is used to store the decimal values. These operations are same. This 3 float, double, and long double are used to store the decimal values, but the difference is in the size. Ranging is different. And next is int. Int is used to hold the type integer. Integer values. Here also you are having different categories, but all are used to store integer values, but there is a difference in sizes. If we need to store many values, then you go for largest value, then you should go for long int, or any normal values it is for int. And there are specific ranges according to our convenient. You can use int or long int like that. And here signed and unsigned represent. Signed is used to represent both. It accepts positive as well as negative values, but unsigned it accepts only the positive value. And here user defined data types are enum and typedef that we discuss in our later classes. Derived types data type is, these are derived from the fundamental data types, that is from primary data type we derived these data types. We'll discuss about these derived data types in further classes. Next, primary data type, we already said that character, integer, floating point, void, and these are already defined in our programming languages. So these are the building blocks of any programming languages. And let us see, I said that it has some particular size and range, and this is the size and range, and it is with respect to 32-bit CPU, and it is with respect to 64-bit CPU. If you change the CPU, actually in some textbooks they follow 16-bit CPU, there the sizes and ranges may differ. For suppose in 16-bit computer CPU, the size of int is 2 bytes. In some laptops or desktops, if you run the code, there is a size of function for sizes. To know the size of any variable, there is a size of function that also we'll discuss in coding session. There, if it is a 16-bit CPU, it gives 2. If it is 32-bit CPU, it returns a 4. If 64 also, it returns 4. So it depends on CPU, it changes, the size changes. And first, what is C language means? It is a structure oriented as well as procedure oriented language, because it follows a certain structure as well as it follows a procedure. Every C program compilation takes place from top to bottom, from the starting line to the ending line. It compiles. So it is structural oriented language. It has a definite structure. And why it is procedure oriented language is, we can develop the submodules. So it is a procedure oriented language. Submodules in the sense we can have different modules, and each module have different functionalities, so you can have any number of modules in our program. Here modules in the sense we use functions as modules. So C is a collection of functions, and some of the applications of C are, it is used to perform complex mathematical operations, and it is used to develop the system software like compiler, interpreter, and also application software like Oracle, and also for gaming applications. Thank you. In next session we are going to see about the structure of C language, compilation and execution of C language, and basic programs. Thank you. If you like our channel, please share and subscribe.